This is Mac with Mac's Corner, and alright, I'm finally getting back away from Hearts of Iron 4, getting back to getting in the groove of the pace I was at before. So I'm sorry for kind of taking, I don't want to say taking everything a new direction. I got really into certain games and or game and had a hard time moving away from it. But as great as it was, and I'll still be playing it, I am now finally ready for something new. So, what is this game? Enter an agency name here. Let's call this Max Rodders. And I like this pattern here as a personal preference, but at the end of the day, it really couldn't make any kind of difference. And what this game is like a sports management sim, but for fantasy RPG. And what we're going to do is we are going to manage heroes and send them on quest. And while there are other games who kind of do it, this is the game that I think that so far has done it best. And I very much have enjoyed playing the little bit I have. And by the way, it is an alpha. But even though it's an alpha, honestly, as far as granted, I haven't played tons of it, but it feels like a really polished product to me. The first thing we need to do is pick our starter hero, and it's a draft, as you kind of see. He's kind of trying to mimic the NFL draft, and the significance of that is you get the first one free, which is important. And it's not going to show you here. I'll talk about the stars later. But each one of these guys comes with 5 stars. And you can pick whatever class you want. So every class in the game is available. And they come with 5 stars. As I said, I'll explain how important that is in a little bit. I'm going to cycle through each of these as I'm talking. So if you really want to read it, you can kind of take a look while I'm talking. So, there is randomization in this start, though. The starting active skill. Each class has 2 potential, at least so far as I've seen, 2 potential starting skills. And the character traits are also randomized. I used to find some without a negative trait, but it seems that they all now come with a negative trait. But positive traits, sometimes they come with 2 positives and a negative, and other times they come with 1 positive and 2 negatives. One thing I will say is I think they stopped putting in one with all negatives too. So you got Scholar Nimble. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take a break here, or not break, but I'm gonna pause everything. I'm gonna find the hero that I'm most excited about, and then come back. Okay, so I have settled on the Ranger. I don't really necessarily go by my favorite class, even though there are certain classes that I was like, I prefer not. What I ultimately go for is their starting active skill, if it's useful or not. Some are more useful than others, even with the same class of character. But also, character traits. Scholar, all stats get a +10 bonus during level up. I haven't played, tons, but I'm thinking that's got to be one of the best ones out there. And we'll kind of, as we get new heroes, I can go over new stuff and you can learn them over time. But that's one of the best ones out there that I've found. And I love the 10% bonus to agility for an archer, because I've always viewed kind of building characters is one of 2 things. Either you take their strengths and you reinforce success by doing everything you can to make those strengths better. The other process is looking at it the opposite way, and you take that character's weakness and you do what you can and everything you can to mitigate that weakness, so that he doesn't have one, if that makes sense. There's 2 ways to do it, and I usually just like to take somebody's strengths and make them even better. That's going to help with that. Another reason I took him is the nicest negative traits are the 10% damage reduction against a specific type of creature. It means, if you're going to be going up against goblins, maybe don't send them, or it's only being issued for a certain type of enemy. The other kind is things like not doing well, like 10% damage, 10% penalty in certain types of terrain. Well, I'm thinking that you're going to have that happen a lot more than going against a particular enemy, because apparently there's a lot of different kind of enemies in the game. And then there's stuff that does like, stupid, essentially is what it's called. It's not called stupid, but dim-witted, which like reduces the amount of either experience you get, or actually I think it actually does the opposite of it does the opposite of Scholar. You get a negative 10 bonus during level up. I mean, that would be harsh. And you've got all sorts of other stuff that do crazy, bad stuff to stats. So this is why I'm going to go ahead with the Archer. So, Max Marauder, superb choice, best of luck. Okay, I'm going to skip the tutorial because it's actually going to be to our advantage. Oh, and this is what's talking about stars. It's called the epicness level. And your starter guy starts with the potential. He starts with 5 stars, and this is a potential. So he'll only have 1 star, but he has the potential to get up to 5. When you first start off recruiting characters, that's not possible, really. And we'll talk. Quick rundown. Here's our HQ, and one of the first things we obviously need to do is form a party. Well, we can go ahead and deploy. Oh, where'd he go? There we go. Deploy our brand new Archer in the party, obviously. Another thing we can do is, and this is another reason why I wanted to skip the tutorial, because you can't do this on the first turn with a tutorial, is we don't need to search for quests because we've already got the one. We can do that later. But we can recruit more guys. So we have 1, and obviously we want to recruit more as much as possible. This is how much gold we have. Every hero you hire, except for the first one that you drafted, is going to cost you money. And obviously, as you can see over time, you can get better recruiting campaigns and get better heroes. These are the kind of quality of heroes you get, which is obviously starting game. It's not going to be that great. And this is kind of the fun part of the game. Well, not the only, but this is one of the things that's cool about the game. So you got these heroes. You can find their class, see if it's a class you need or that will support you or that kind of stuff, or not. And you can look at their stats and find out if they have character traits that you think would be good or not. So resistance to bonus to physical attacks. That's pretty good because they're probably more likely to come up with physical attacks than enemy attacks. And his skill. Okay, Ice Caltrops, I don't even know what those are. I guess I'll find out. Oh, and the rogues are kind of fun, I guess. Yeah, you'll see why later, potentially. And so I'm like, well, he's not super awesome. He's not bad. I wouldn't mind having him in the party. So I want to give him a contract. And one of the things I've kind of found best to do with especially these initial guys, I've enjoyed doing it, is... I'll lock in the contract, give a better chance, and I'll go down to a weekly salary of about 10. And the total would be 120. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pay now. Pay 60% and save 30%. So total 74. With 50 being paid now, and then they get a salary of 2 coins per week. So pretty cheap. 51% chance he'll accept. A 32% chance he will not accept, but we can give him another offer. And 12% chance, 1 out of 10, that he's going to hate us. He refused the contract offer. So, that happens for me. By the way, the penalty for refusing the contract offer is now the chance of stuff goes down. So I just offer him 1 more coin. And do it again. Great, we got him. Now, if you 0 fame for getting them, but the reason why that's okay early on and I don't worry about having utter failures is because later on I guess you lose fame for failing or like pissing them off, but nobody cares about these guys, so you don't lose any fame. Nobody cares. Marry a witch doctor, channel spirits that are mortal bodies, beware opponent. Okay, skills. I haven't played one of these or had any. Ooh, that actually could be pretty darn useful. What's this? Oh, he's hit better than most. 10% penalty to combat stat. So he gets 15. I'm trying to figure, is this the combat stat? I don't know what this means. It's the only problem. They don't really explain that. Well, Let's see what we can get. The same little stuff on him. Let's see how it goes. Weeks. Lock it in. Okay, now. Because I'm a businessman. And you want employees as cheap as possible. No, I actually don't believe that. I understand the concept. I will tell you that's how a lot of people. Really? Well, okay. Alright. Made a little bit more money than the other guy, but I still don't think there's anything else. Now, I'll walk through this in a second. But essentially, okay, I'll get up to that in a second. You don't necessarily want to hire every guy you see because you can't. So 10, how? Oh, he's actually pretty good. Kind of like. So if you really see somebody you like and you think you want to stick with for the long term, and Arcane Spell Swords, like if you look at his damage, like that's pretty good. And I grant you that's with a special attack, but that's still pretty good. So, get a guy like this, and I'm thinking I want to hold on to him for a while, and I have confidence I can keep him alive. I'm going to keep him for 48 months. And the reason why you want to do this is, guess what happens when a contract is up? That's right, you have to renegotiate. And as their level goes up and their skills go up, they become obviously more expensive. Now the challenge though here is in terms of in-game potential, maybe not a lot because he can't multi-class. As of right now, I don't know how important that is, but for every star, a character can multi-class every 5 levels, which I guess becomes very significant, I would assume, but for right now, I don't know. We're just starting off. Obviously, at 10 coins, he's not going to get locked in for 48 months, though. I'll still go ahead and pay now. Let's offer him a little more. And 5 weekly, 405 now. Let's do that. 51%. Oh, he got pissed off. But we didn't lose any fame. Well, we'll be okay. So each of these things up here, we have our roster, which obviously shows all of our heroes, and we can take a look at them. We've got the league, and what the league is, this is another reason it's kind of cool, and it's like an NFL thing, is we start off in the Bronze League, and technically I guess we're at the bottom, but everybody's got 0 fame, and in this game you get famous, but it's not a resource to spend so much as it's a score, and it's competitive. So like as you play game, as you go through the season, which is 1 total year, I think it was 3 months, I forget the exact number, but over time the people at the bottom of the leaderboard get knocked off. And if you are at the bottom of the leaderboard, you can get knocked off, which means guess what? You can lose this game. This is not a game where you can just keep playing and eventually if you try hard enough you win. Nope. You got to continue to do well consistently, or yeah. But that's another thing that's kind of cool. And as at some point it keeps going till there's only like the top 3 or 4, I think. And I forget what it said, but like top 1 or 2, I forget how many get to stay in the game or something. But only the top 1 or 2, I think 1. Irrelevant at this point. But it's some number, a small number, move up then to the Silver League. At which point you do it all over again, and you're trying to work your way all up to the Epic League, which is pretty cool. And it shows all this stuff in the your season stats. I love it because I'm not a big football player. Like, I'm not a huge sports fan, but I would love the concept of sports game and the analysis and stuff. But it needs to be presented like this in a way I understand and am appreciative of. Quest. This is the current number of quests. Right now, it's just the initial starter quest that you get no matter what. You get more quests by prospecting. We don't have access to the shop or any of this stuff yet. I'll unlock that later. I've showed you how to recruit. Portals, essentially, after you get to a place, you can click on the portal and on that place, and a portal takes you from one location to any other portal for free. Up here you have your what's it called now? Resources. Your research. And as time goes on, also you can start researching all this stuff, and you choose the path on how you want to upgrade your license, or your kind of what you're doing. And over time, you can spend money to buy licenses. And this is not limited by your, as far as I understand, this is not limited by your league. So, you know, being very successful early and purchasing licenses maybe a little bit earlier is going to be helpful to you in the long run. As you can see, each license gives you more benefits and upgrades, things like this. So, quest. Right now we can only have 3 quests total. We have 1. Increasing licenses increases that. Right now we can have a total of 4 people in our barracks or whatever, and we got 3 of 4. And this here is the salary cap, which is another cool thing I like. Because here's your gold. You know, and I found so far it's not too big a deal. But you have a salary cap, and your team, however large it is, can't be above the salary cap. So I think that's kind of cool too. So you can't just make a lot of money, get rich, and then just buy your way to success. You've also got to be thoughtful of your team makeup, you know, what the mission is, and all that stuff is another reason that this game really kind of I find interesting. We don't have any equipment now. Obviously, you can select your guy and give him equipment. What I love most about it is that, well, I shouldn't say love most, but one of the things I appreciate is I love how there's just a current kit, which is there are kits that are specific to a class. So he can only equip a ranger kit, and those kits come in different qualities, and they can each carry 1 accessory. And accessories, anybody can carry any kind of accessory. What I like about it is I think that a lot of games like I've seen like this, they try and get too much into like, oh, you've got to give him a sword, and what's his hat, and what's his this, and what's his that. I mean, that's cool with like, you know, party of 4, but I don't think any of us are trying to manage like a party of 30 to that level. So that's another thing that's pretty cool. Without further ado, I'll take you. We'll do the first quest, walk you through how that works, and then I'll probably pause and come back when things get interesting again. So we're going to go ahead, create our party. Deploy right there. We will add our other guys to our little party. Oops. There we go. Down here, you click on your thing and you can move, you can camp, you can portal if we had any options, and you can disband the party. Those are your options. So we will move here. Turn. Everything drink off. Nothing happens. So a really cool thing too is you can get random encounters, and I'm definitely going to show you one the next time we get one. And they're, so far as I've seen, they're pretty different from each other. So here's our thing. Here's the first quest. You can read that real quick if you want. And voila! It's, you know, it grants you. Is it super complex? No. Is it fairly Final Fantasy 1 combat tactics? Yeah, but I like the fact that I can be involved in it. Because I don't mind, obviously as an RPG fan, I don't mind rolling the dice from time to time. You know, I don't mind the concept of randomness, but I don't like auto battles, which is what other things of this did, because I don't like everything to be decided on one roll, if that makes sense. So I like the way you can kind of micromanage this. By the way, lesson learned the hard way. Always kill the wizards first, at least at the beginning of the game, because they die easy, but oh my god, they hit hard. Like, even for the early game, like, they hit hard. Like I've been one-shotted by them before at full health, which was insane. Obviously, different status effects, action points. Here's your total AP. You can pass, and it'll build up your AP for the turn. Oh, he missed. You suck. Again, it's an option. Do we want to go do this attack, or if there were more people, maybe do 20 attack to everybody by saving up. You know, it just depends. And I just noticed he smacks him with his... He doesn't shoot an arrow at him, he smacks him with his bow. Okay, whatever works. Okay, you get experience. No matter how many kills each one gets, anybody participating in the fight all gets the same amount of experience. Fame, gold, all that stuff. And here is a big one. Earn 1 reputation with Hildrick Ironmark. And now let me show you why that is important. So now we're going to start getting some new quests. So in order to do that, we have the Prospect quest. And here we go, more quests. This is the same guy, and what's going on right now is he and his two other brothers are vying for control. Is the story vying for control of the kingdom? And right now, he apparently has the strongest claim, but and he's got the nobles on his side, but his brothers are fighting against him. So we could take this guy's quest here, which is the guy's brother, who's in competition with the one we just got a reputation with. The problem is, then the guy who we just did a quest with is gonna, I guess, he's probably gonna feel betrayed. He's gonna know about it. So it's one of those decisions you have to make, and this is another thing. It's a thoughtful kind of way of doing the game. You can try and play all sides against the middle, you know, get more quests quicker and do whatever, you know, your choice. But you might wind up pissing everybody off in the process. So that's me. I personally like to, if I make it, you know, I hate, you know, pick a side and go. Is my way of doing business. But I'm not saying that's the right way. Everybody's got their own preference. So the other thing is scout quest. This is you can spend your turn scouting a specific quest to get more information, so you don't accidentally walk into a death trap. That's also an option. Right now, we're taking the quest available. Keep in mind, you can only hold 3, so you don't necessarily want to take every available quest all the time. Because I think you can drop quest, but there's a huge penalty for it. So you gotta be careful with that too. Is there anything else I want to? Let's see if we get a random encounter. You can see, you know, the salary is going away each turn. Nothing happens. Alright, well, I'll start back up if and when we get a random encounter. Then after that, I'll play on my own for a while and start back up if something interesting happens. I just want to show here where I had picked up a recruit again, and I'm pointing this guy out because this is actually a pretty big deal. But we only get one more, and I'd really like to have someone who's pretty darn strong. And it seems like this is going to cause a little bit of chaos, hence the name Chaos Bolt. But you can read it, you know, random damage by random elemental type. So it's nice to have that like little kind of wild card in a party, you know. We are healer short though, which could become a problem in the long term. But right now, I think we'll be fine. And he's got, bonus to Arcana stat. This bonus to Arcana stat, it's not stuck to him as sorcerer. Like he could have gotten a bonus to combat stat. It's just a good lineup with there, and I mean, nice. The top one's nice to have, but not a need to have. This gifted's pretty good. Like the Chaos Bolt, doesn't have any negative stats, so probably gonna work a little bit harder for this guy than I have for some of the others. So I'm gonna be smart about this. I'll go ahead and just do 20. 24 months maybe. 5 a week. Yeah, it's fine, and because you know I don't know his characters very well, so if I wind up really liking him, I don't mind paying the extra to keep him on board when we renegotiate a contract. And if I find out I don't like him, then I don't want to lock in for 48 weeks anyways. So just wanted to show that, and shall we turn? All right, got a random encounter. So, as you can see, this is not the best example one, but I've already so far seen a bunch of different random ones, but it is a decent example. So sometimes it's coming across like things in the wood, so let me give you, this example should be a good one, and I'll give you a kind of a one how you can't always trust the system, if that makes sense. So you open the chest, and there's a chance it has a trap, chance it's not, or you can just leave it. Well, if you've got the right character class in the party, it'll give you that option. Sometimes it has a percentage chance of success, sometimes it's just you're good to go. And different characters will have different options with different potential results and all that stuff. And it's all based on the encounter, which I think is really cool. So 500 gold added to treasury, no traps. I'll take that for $1. Now the bad example of one is tiny, mild spoilers if you ever come across it. So we came across this goblin merchant one time. We had different options of dealing with them, and one of them was for the warrior to have like a, it was a warrior only option where the warrior just one-shot it and hacked his head off. And then it wound up being like a male hobgoblin, or hobgoblin instead of like a goblin. And then the text said, oh, quick, we had to go hide the body before people discovered about it. And you lose like 5 fame, and the warrior that did that got 2 negative traits. So your decisions do matter, and being thoughtful about how you respond to things does matter. And then, while that wasn't a great example because it was just a treasure chest, there are examples where if you succeed, just like you can get negative traits, with successes you can get positive traits. So I wanted to show that. I've shown you all the kind of fundamental aspects of the game, and I will play for a bit, and when things start getting interesting, as I said, then I'll come back, but it'll probably be a while from now. Okay, so the first trimester, as it's called, is over. We're sitting at the top of the Bronze League, which I'd be disappointed if, with my gaming experience, we couldn't do that with at least the Bronze League. So that's kind of cool. That happens every 12 weeks. And I'll kind of at least showcase a little bit. But that's any information you want. It's okay. Second trimester or whatever, and we fell down to 3rd place, unfortunately. I made a really bad mistake on a random encounter and got a bunch of wounds, and it just delayed a lot of time. So got knocked down a few notches, but I think we'll be able to make it back. Okay, so this is pretty cool. Just figured I've done a bunch of quests for these guys, and it does have some effect. Now, I don't know what it does that we're friendly, but we're friendly. Still struggling to catch up because I wasn't smart with the portals. It's the travel time. I think I'm taking too long traveling, and I've made a few kind of bad choices, I guess, or had bad luck, or both, in the encounters. So being if you do decide, being efficient with the portals is really important. I mean, we're still fine, but I like the one. So all I've really done is just wander around doing quests. You haven't really missed much, just kind of checking out the area. What I'm really hoping, well, there are these little mini stories that unfold. So there are you can read the stories for each quest, and some of the quests do stack. So I'm kind of interested to see if, as the game goes on, the little mini stories kind of turn into a bigger one or something. That would be pretty darn. Alright, so I managed to pull to the top right at the last turn, which is pretty sweet. So back up to number 1. I'm probably going to keep going until basically if we move up to the Silver League. And then it's getting pretty late on my end, so probably going to call it. And, yeah, but of course, we'll talk more about what I include. I keep forgetting that for you guys, it's not nearly as long as it is for me. So, let's see. Okay, so this is interesting. At level 5, I can now move the warrior up, but I thought it was maybe going to be optional, but it's not even optional. He has to choose another class. So, I guess he's going to learn one of the following active skills, or can learn. How the warrior? Okay, never mind. So I'm going to look at it for a second, but I'm thinking to either do something that's going to supplement what he's already got, which is strength when he levels up, or maybe build up on his weakness, which is agility, kind of going with what we were talking about earlier. So he already hits pretty darn hard. Now if we can get him being more agile in combat, that would be some pretty good stuff. And so I took a look at it, and that gives the strength and weakness of everybody, or their primary and secondary stats, kind of stuff. And there's no two that are the same. So the warrior's the only one that's combat. So I was looking at options. One was to go rogue, get his agility up, and get his agility up substantially, or to go ranger and still get his agility up, and still keep his combat going up pretty good. So I think that's what I'm gonna do, unless there's a combat. I thought there was a combat. Oh, there is, but it's the monk. The reason I'm not choosing the monk is he buffs the party, but this guy's my main killer. I don't need him buffing stuff. I need him killing stuff. blunt. So another good thing is this will give him an area of effect thing. So I think right here I'm liking this one. Hopefully I'll get to select. I hope it's not random. I hope I'll get to select what he gets. But it looks like I will. This is the level up. And it looks like next turn I'll get to select what I want. So I go ahead and move on to select class. Oh, and I just get to go ahead and do this. And I am obviously going to take that. That's going to make this guy pretty darn you-know-whats. Now, here's my question. I don't know for certain, but now I'm starting to think and assume that people, that like these two guys are never going to be able to get promoted. Is kind of what I'm starting to think. Might be on level 5, but we'll see. Okay, I might have gotten cocky and bit off more than I can chew here, but we'll see. We'll see how this goes. Well, I guess we're gonna be okay. Maybe they just got a lucky first hit or something. So all's well that ends well. Okay, so this is pretty cool. I've been following a quest chain for that faction, getting more reputation, getting more quest, and one of the big chains. They all kind of seemed like they were about the same, but it kept going, 1, 2, 3, 4, and it's culminating into where the guy's gonna have us kill his father, so he can speed up his ascension to the throne. So that's what I'm about to go do. It is interesting. That's nothing I like about it. Is reading the stuff it actually has got some kind of, I won't say fascinating, but it definitely adds an element to the game. Okay, well, this time I might have really bit off more than I could chew, but for real this time. Maybe, yeah, we'll see. Alright. Okay, well, I guess I did get it, but this one wasn't easy. I had to pull out all the stops. Like, I had a lot more items than this, and I pulled out everything I had to keep everything okay. And it got a little hairy once or twice, but I think we'll pull it off. But since this is a boss, I'll just go ahead and finish him up, so we can maybe see if there's anything special that happens. I don't know. Ooh, ouch, see? See, this is why. Alright. Yeah, my main guy do a ton of damage at least. Special. Making the way for new blood. Well, he's paying us, and he was our first contract. We can't betray the contract. Already got one of those. Let's see. Ring of Fame, yeah. Here. Alright. But I think, well, yeah, I think I confirmed. I don't think they can move past level 5 because they haven't been getting any experience. So we'll have to find a replacement with these guys at some point, but since I can only hire like level 1 and 2 heroes right now, we'll have to stick with them in the short term because there's no point in hiring a newbie right now. Okay, so this year's league race is now over. The award ceremony is about to begin, so let's see. It's interesting, they usually give you a warning before this stuff. They didn't give you a warning this time, though. Okay, so we're first, quite substantially. These guys are all illuminated. And we'll continue and see what happens. Alright. Granted ticket to enter the Silver League. Greater challenges and riches await in this new yearly race. So the funny thing is, I think we start over. Like, I think your fame goes back to 0 or something crazy. It's weird. Alright. 4 better needed to progress. Yeah, we did fine. Gold trophy awarded for finishing this year's race in first place. Your agency moved to Silver League. Yay. Now, I don't know what the trophies do. I have not figured that out yet. Oh, this is nothing. Every couple weeks, the god of the month or whatever changes, and certain characters, every character worships a specific god, and they get bonuses if it's the week. So agency level up. Okay, that's great. Oh, could I have been purchasing? Hold on. I keep going up. Level 3, 3,000. We got plenty of money. Oh man, you're kidding me. mean, that's not huge. This that big a deal. Okay, so lesson I just learned, which you probably don't want to follow, is you do level up, and I guess I leveled up to a point where it wouldn't let me level up anymore, or I don't know. But I thought you had to wait enter the Silver League. I thought this was like by leagues or something. But no, you can actually buy licenses as long as you meet the level requirement and the money, I guess. So that's okay though. We did just fine without it. So what I probably will do though now is take these 2 level 5 adventurers, right? And I'll make kind of 2 parties. I'll try and get some new heroes that are a little better and make like a primary party. And then what I can do is keep the secondary party and have the secondary party. Now we can get a lot more quests too, right? Yeah. So I'll have the secondary party start chasing down all the little minor quests and like the ones that are kind of too low rank. I'll have my major party kind of progressing and doing the big stuff. So that'll be the general strategy. I probably will not continue recording a Let's Play after this because it's a neat game, but unless I run into something that's just substantially different, I think you've got a good look at the game, you know how it runs. So if it's something you like and you're interested in, by all means, go buy it if you want. I'm just here to inform, entertain, and do all that stuff. I'm going to get back to doing more variety of videos, get back to primarily video stuff starting now. And that is about it. So hope you enjoyed. Without further ado, Mac out.